hour has 22 minutes.
Good evening. Well, with the Winter Olympics coming up, the Montreal Police bobsled team, a crack bunch of Montreal's finest, unveiled their secret weapon last week, a new type of sled, a human being. Later, it was reported by the police that after a preliminary run, the sled fell into a coma. A spokesperson for the team apologized, saying that unfortunately, the sled just couldn't withstand the constant pounding of the six-member team. He went on to say that the good citizens of Quebec should take heart that they were back in their cars patrolling the streets of Montreal looking for a new sled.
The Russian government has announced that the secret formula for embalming fluid that has been used to preserve Lenin's body for so many years, so successfully, is now available to any capitalist country for a price. When offered, the Canadian government showed no interest. A spokesperson said, "It's no news to us. We've been using it for years on Mitchell Sharp."
The NDP in British Columbia is having difficulty selecting its candidate in the riding of Matsqui. Earlier this month, the party gave the nod to Samuel Wagar. But the party changed its mind when it became known that Mr. Wagar is a self-proclaimed practicing witch. Now, Mr. Wagar will be forced to contest the nomination all over again. In the upcoming nominating meeting, Mr. Wagar will be reportedly running against a unicorn, a bat, and a giant spider.
I just happened to be watching the throne speech last Tuesday, as you can imagine, and couldn't help but wonder just what was going through Prime Minister Chrétien's mind that long, long quarter hour.
And to examine the need for legislative change. Goods and services tax.
In view of last week's dazzling coverage of the LA earthquake by CBC's Primetime News, complete with annoying reports from dreary Canadians residing in LA, whose bookcases apparently quite tragically fell down, this hour has 22 minutes, has decided to go them one better. We now go to the interior of BC, where Mrs. Cecilia Pictou, who was apparently considering quite seriously visiting LA before the disaster, now joins us. Mrs. Pictou, you're Canadian.
Oh, yes.
And you were thinking of going down to LA last week.
No, I live in BC, and I love BC, and why go to LA? I mean, they're promising us our own earthquake up here. Why spend the money? But I can sympathize, because the kids are always upstairs, Molly, with the rock and roll music, and the whole place is shaking. It's quite frightening.
But you must have some advice for Canadians who might sometime in the future be planning to go to LA.
Well, when packing, roll your T-shirts, because that can save you space, and double bag your shampoo in case of spillage. And I can also give some canning tips, because I put up a lot.
And we'll certainly get back to you during the harvest season. And now we go to Los Angeles, where Canadian actor Tony Hogan is trapped. Tony?
Well, actually, I'm an actor slash writer slash performer slash artist, and it's Anthony T. Hogan, if you wouldn't mind.
Well, of course. After all, you are in LA. Anthony T., when the tremors stopped, you must have been shocked by the damage.
Well, not really. How much damage can you do to a refrigerator box?
Mr. Hogan, you're an actor. You've lost everything. What are you going to do now?
Well, I'd really like to direct.
Anthony, the earthquake was 7 days ago. Why are you still trapped?
I don't want to be rescued. This is the most exposure I've had since I've been to LA. I mean, work is work, Molly. There are no small parts, only small actors.
Thank you, Anthony. And now, singer-songwriter Wynn McPherson recently moved to LA. Where were you, Wynn, when the earthquake struck?
Oh, it was an earthquake? I didn't know that. It explains a lot, though. I'm gonna write a song about it here. Just give me a sec here. It was an earthquake, a real big earthquake. It was
6.6.
0.6 on the Richter scale. Lots of money to save the humans. Not one red cent to save a whale.
Thank you, Wynn. And And thank you all for helping us Canadianize this truly American disaster. Good night, Mrs. Pictou.
Good night, and just remember, if anyone from LA needs a place to stay, there's a room over the shed one of the kids used to use. There's lots of tinned goods in the pantry.
Good night, Wind.
And now the whales turn out their lights. Good night.
Good night, Anthony T.
Good night, good night, and flights of angels singing to us.
Blow wind, crack my cheeks.
The contraceptive device Norplant will soon be available in Canada. Side effects of the hormone-releasing plastic implant include headaches, weight gain, and mood swings. After months of exhaustive testing on Deputy Prime Minister Sheila Copps, the product will be on sale in Canada this spring.
And now it's time for crazy news with this hour's very own Sandy Campbell.
I'm Sandy Campbell. I'll tell you what's crazy. 15% of people in Montreal believe masturbation leads to deafness. Quoi? I'll tell you what's nuts. The crowd from Waco, Texas were upset this week that they'd been thrown in jail with Jeffrey Dahmer. Apparently, they started a new cult now called the Brunch Davidians. Ha! I saw in the paper, man's nose busted. Ha! What did it do? Hey, apparently some babies fed by mothers with silicone implants may suffer digestive disorders. Well, I guess. Okay, Roseanne. I don't mind the new nose, eyes, cheeks, breasts, and tummy, but why chew the gum on Leno? That's crazy. I know. You're common folk, I get it. But check out that bank balance. I should be so common. Oh, yeah. The Beatles are getting back together. I told my sister Enid they weren't just a flash in the pan. Tonya Harding's bodyguard. McGilla Gorilla or what? I'd say he's a few bananas short of a bunch. Don't go into the light, Tonya. Well, I'm in the midst of a divorce. Seems like it's due to a hormone called vasopressin. It's supposed to keep rodents monogamous. I guess my rat had a deficiency. I thought we had a stable relationship, but that's just because he used to make me sleep in the barn. That's it for me. See you next week.
American superstore chain Walmart took over almost all of the Canadian Woolco stores this month. We go now to our woman in the street, Doreen O'Day, for her reaction.
Oh, I'm hopping mad. Hold me back, Betty. I'm vicious. What's the government thinking about it all? Letting a big cutthroat American firm come in here and buy up 122 Canadian stores? Well, they're Woolco, so I suppose technically they're American stores. But still, thinking they can come in here and get away with price cutting and actually providing service to the customer, it threatens the very bedrock of Canadian commerce. Did you ever go into Canadian Tire and try to find someone to help you? My dear, you couldn't find someone to spit in your mouth if you were dying of thirst. And then for Walmart to have the gall to act like that not only are you privileged enough to be allowed in their stores, but you're actually welcome in their stores? I'm not going to put up with it. I'm used now to being treated like dirt into Eatons. And the crowd in the Bay, well, I'm grateful to them, you know, for opening up the interior of the country and coming up with them stripy coats and blankets and all. But I mean to say the entire sales staff at the Bay, they're not all gods and goddesses, are they? Forced to come down off Mount Olympus and help you deal with your mundane toiletry problems. This Walmart takeover thing is going to cause problems. Canadians are going to start thinking that they are someone, like they're important, like they might be valued customers or something. And it's not going to stop there. You mark my words. It's going to lead to lawlessness, a belief in manifest destiny, and ultimately upwards of 10,000 deaths per year due to handguns. Stop Walmart now! Stop Walmart now!
This hour has 22 minutes is proud to present media pundits Stuart Steed and Steve Steele with The Right Answer. Men, we salute you.
Okay, let's start it all off with Bush and Reagan confirmed liars.
Yeah. And smoking is bad for your health. These men have served their country, served it well. Leave them alone. Parliament plans to tighten tax loopholes.
What kind of country is it where I can't write off a champagne brunch against my own personal income? Thank you very much, Fidel Chrétien. The Bobbitt trial.
Little known fact, Ontario woman cut off her husband's manhood way back in 1991. A Canadian first. Canadian women leading the feminist fight. No bright ideas, honey. Debt clock reaches $500 billion.
Please, will somebody listen to me? Chop the minimum wage in half. Let's get this economy going. What is the minimum wage?
You got me. I should know. I own a Burger King.
It's over $3.
It's out of the park.
The Chinese accused of using slave labor.
Well, I like it, but then again...
You own a Burger King.
The Queen breaks her wrist falling off a horse.
I did not know Bob Ray could ride a horse.
He sings too, performed a song on TV. Don't quit your day job, Bob. On second thought, Bob,
Quit your day job. Tonya Harding, is she guilty?
she knows what she wants. She knows how to go after it. There's a girl that just might make it into middle management. The homeless situation.
I feel their pain. I've been there. Hard to believe, but I was once one of the summer homeless.
No.
True story.
I don't give these people money. I do give them free advice. Buy low, sell high.
Diversify.
And maybe get a shave.
And that's the right answer.
I don't know. Call me crazy, call me a coward, but who in their right mind would live in Los Angeles? I mean, what comes to mind when you think Los Angeles? Fires, floods, 6 cops beating a guy within an inch of his life, 3 guys dropping a rock on someone's head for fun, your street turning into a river while hellfire comes out of the ground, burns your house and your car in under 2 minutes flat. And if that's not bad enough, apparently Leona Boyd lives there now. You see, I'm from Newfoundland. People say, what do you live in Newfoundland for? We say, what do you live in Toronto for? Let's face it, Canadians, we have our own reasons why we want to live in one area of Canada over the other. But really, God love Canada. How often does any Canadian wake up with a 900-pound mahogany dresser drawer coming straight for their face at warp speed? Doesn't happen very often. God love Canada. We have every right in the world to be completely holier than thou when it comes to the flaky state of California. Unless, of course, you live in BC, where even though I realize the flowers are probably going to come up any minute, and I realize that the quality of life out there is apparently 2,000 times greater than ours, they're still just sitting there eating sushi waiting for the big one. At least in our neck of the woods, when someone says, the big one is coming, we know they're talking about WWF wrestling at the local hockey rink. You might want to run and hide, but the option is completely yours. So let's reverse the trend. Let's stop moving west and start coming east. Come east, young man. Come east, young woman. Come east. It's not as warm, but it's not going to kill you either.
Britain's Duchess of Kent has decided to become a Catholic. Well, you can't just become a Catholic. You can't just begin to see everything as all your fault. You can't suddenly feel so ashamed of yourself that you could do so much better, that you're a bold, brazen upstart, and that you're never going to amount to anything. Look, missus, you can't just begin to not be able to enjoy sex just like that. It takes years to become a Catholic.
Russian cosmonaut Yuri Gagarin has been orbiting the Earth in a space capsule for over 190 days. We talk to him now. Hello, Mr. Gagarin.
Hello to you, Canada!
Now, Mr. Gagarin, you have no idea when you'll be allowed to come home. What keeps your spirits up?
Watching a satellite broadcast of Street Legal. It's only thing that gives me purpose.
I hate to tell you, Mr. Gagarin, but Street Legal has been cancelled.
Oh, no, but Chuck Chabaning was such a good lawyer.
Yes, I know. Now, Mr. Gagarin, last time we spoke, you were worried about your health. How are you holding up now?
Well, eating steady diet of powdered soup, so have had MSG headache for several months now.
Good God. Now, Mr. Gagarin, may I call you Yuri?
As my brother-in-law Petrov would say, call me anything, just don't call me late for workers' revolution.
Nice to see that you still have a sense of humor.
Oh, I have joke. where does ultra-nationalist Red Army platoon sleep?
I don't know. Where do they sleep?
Anywhere they want.
Humor. Yuri, if you could have one thing in the world right now, what would that be?
Oh, air freshener.
Thank you, Yuri, and Godspeed. But of course, you people don't believe in God, and that's probably why you're in the mess you're in. Good night.
And now the BBC World Service with the delicate news for the Dominion.
Our top story tonight. Recently, a representative of the melanin-impoverished made some rather nasty remarks concerning the skin melanated, the tinted folk of the world. In the news again this week, the availability of books that are read with one hand. The books that have to do with it. The other thing. Dipping one's wick. Rumpy-pumpy. And I don't believe we need say any more on that particular subject. Canada's response to the ongoing unpleasantness in Bosnia has been to vote in favour of UN air support, which will, of course, mean delivering bombs from aeroplanes onto soft-skinned targets on the ground, resulting in no end of civilian deaths. Or rather, some collateral damage. I'm afraid I'm taking a bit of a turn. When the balance of one's mind is disturbed, when one's had a breakdown, one fears, of course, that it will happen again. That once again the lads in white coats will come to cart one off to the Giggle Farm, the Laughing Academy, the Nut College, and while I do admit to being rather peculiar, I am in no way potty or unhinged. So, that's it from the BBC World Service. Good night.
And now, some survival advice for that old Canadian winter. This hour's very own deep, cold expert, Joe Crow.
My soul was in the lost and found. Oh, Joe Crow here in the moon of the polar bear. So cold you don't have to smoke. You can see you're hot. What are you gonna do about it, eh? Heat up the old truck, go down to the river and smoke some salmon. I asked one of my elders, eh? Elder, how'd you know it's going to be a heavy winter? Simple, he said, Joey. White man pile wood high. Now don't leave your doggy outside unless it's a husky. Chihuahua, well, they're no good to pull a sleigh, eh? Except maybe a Barbie dream sleigh. It's so cold out, it's colder than the floor of my cabin. Jeez. They stole the battery out of my truck. I had to take a luge over here. The roads were a mess, so I took the information superhighway there, eh? A lot of people have been asking about Joe's recipe for mitten stew. Okay, wait for a Chinook. When it all melts down, go out, harvest a mitten from the mittens on the road there. Put it in a big pot, soak the salt out of it, add potatoes, carrots, onions, peas, and a little bit of rabbit. Then remove your mitten, eh? Nobody needs that much fiber. It's so slippery out, I had to put 2 10-pound bags of gravel in my boots. It's been so cold there. The other day I had my appendix out and it was chapped. It's so cold around these parts, eh? Storks don't deliver, baby. Puffins do. Take care now. Skidoo careful. See you next time. I'll tell you how to catch a rabbit. I'll tell you next time. When the sun is lost and found.
And now, Jean Chrétien's Little Red Book update. Now, one of the big promises in Jean Chrétien's Little Red Book was the cancellation of the Pearson International deal. Now, Chrétien saw this as little more than a way for Brian Mulrooney's cronies to line their pockets. So the new PM ordered an end to this dirty patronage deal right away and moved on to the next order of business: jobs. Now, so far, he's hired one guy, this man, to oversee the dismantling of the Pearson deal and put an end to Tory patronage. Now, the Prime Minister's office say that he is the most qualified man for the job, and they're probably right. His resume is an impressive one. He's a Liberal. He's a former law partner of Jean Chrétien, and he was Jean Chrétien's chief fundraiser in his unsuccessful 1984 leadership bid. So to recap, the Pearson deal is dead, one new job has been created, and the days of patronage are over. Jean Chrétien well on his way to restoring our faith in government.
Well, it was quite a week.
Yes, aliens invaded the planet.
The GST was dropped to 5%.
Who dropped the GST?
The aliens.
Apparently they thought it was an unfair tax.
Apparently, aliens are very clannish. They stick to their own.
Really?
No, literally, they stick to their own. It's quite painful, especially in this weather.
Well, I think that's really the big story this week, those low temperatures right across the country.
Apparently the temperature drops when they breathe.
Pretty well the only downside to the whole alien invasion.
Unless you consider the Annex satellites being taken out as some kind of alien conspiracy. And the Bobbitt verdict. You mean the aliens want us all to be smooth?
There's absolutely no evidence that the aliens had anything to do with that.
Yeah. Good night.
That's it, Danny. No more hockey. Can you hear me, Danny?
Yes, Mona, I can hear you.
Well, that's it. Sleep with me or sleep with the hockey game. What's it gonna be, Danny? Me or hockey?
I don't know, Mona. Would that be a regular game or the playoffs?
Oh, my. Well, Michael Jackson, what?
Oh, yeah.
Did you hear about Michael Jackson?
You heard that rumor?
Don't be talking.
Did you hear it?
$100 million to make Buddy go away or something.
Sounds like good to me. Sounds like
He abused me.
I'd like to make you go away.
He did. And Phil Collins, too.
No.
Oh, yeah. And Whitney Houston.
Yeah.
some lucky.
Yeah, and Willie Nelson.
Willie
Not
Nelson
Willie
got no
Nelson.
money, Danny.
Oh, no, he didn't abuse me then.
No.
Madonna.
Madonna, yeah.
Oh, couldn't keep her away from me.
And she's AC-dosey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
That's a fact.